What's up, everybody? This is the latest and greatest pickup. I got it for 2,300 bucks. There's some reasons why it was just that price. Now, when you hit the key, oh yeah, the battery on this is totally toasted. You can see that right there. I don't know how they did that, but they broke the positive cable. You can see it's got some wear and tear on it. Back tire's not terrible. They got this weird blinker setup. Ugly freaking seat, but it does have a smoked windshield. And smoke turn signals up front. Front tire's not terrible shape. Forks don't seem to be leaking too bad. Now this is what's keeping it from going wide open throttle. I got a good deal on it because the old owner said it won't go wide open throttle. I thought, that's weird. Let me turn my light on. And yeah, we got some rust going on. It does have a lot of pros to it. I believe it has like 30 and some change thousand miles, 36 or something. It's got Screaming Eagle intake, Screaming Eagle pipes. So it sounds pretty good when it's running. The drive belt doesn't look terrible. It's got a lot of pros. Even the oil itself, let me show you. That's something that I like to check on bikes. The oil itself looks pretty good in there. They scratched this up right here pretty good. Probably just try and put the seat back on. Let me see if I can show you. I don't think it's a deal breaker. It's got some little nicks there, but pretty typical. So yeah, this is it. This is the next build. Just gonna try to get it roadworthy again. Give it a once over and then send it on its way. Hopefully get somebody, maybe first bike situation. It's just an 883 Sportster 2004. It looks good and hopefully it'll be running good. It will idle, but I don't want to mess with it. You saw the gas tank and that battery. So I'm gonna get it all taken apart, get the carb cleaned out, get the gas tank cleaned out. And I do have a battery for it, so I'll get the battery slapped in there too. Okay, so we gotta get the seat off to get the tank off. I kept the cover for the battery off, so I'm just gonna zip that off too. To get the seat off, it's pretty simple. It's literally just one screw. Seats on motorcycles, don't be afraid of them. They're pretty easy to get off. And then this one, you have to do a little push. You can see I'm pushing forward. There's a little clamp in there. Come on. Oh. Okay, so that just goes right there. And then there's a hook on the front of the seat. The hook right there, it goes right there. So that's it for the seat. This is pretty simple too. There's this little nut they screw onto. I don't know what happened to this battery, but the previous owner said, yeah, it's gonna need a new battery. I wonder why. This actually happened on an FZ06 that I had a few years back. Same thing. Just the positive cable broke, or not the cable, but the terminal, like the way you see it here. And then you just drop that side, just like that. And so that's free too. Wiggle it out. And now, I'll have to find that bolt. But now the battery's out. I want to pull the gas tank off, but before I do that, I want to show you this right here. This little fuel filter. And I just need to disconnect this hose right there. Wow, that was hands down the most uneventful removal I've had in quite some time, which is nice. So that's disconnected. Now I'm gonna loosen this bolt right here, and then there's two in the front that I'll have to take off, and this guy should be ready to come off. All right, so we got that back bolt out. Just a little bit of story time. The last 883 I had was a salvage title. This is way better. I kind of had a negative safe. Just two people cruising around helmetless on a Friday. Probably a few drinks in, who cares? I had a salvage title one that had been like spray painted. And I kind of had a bad rep for Harley for a while. I was like, dude, those bikes are garbage. But, I mean, like, stuff like that, a little protective coating on the rear fender, makes sense. So I got both bolts out. Now it's just time to take the tank off. And that's it. Pretty easy to get these things taken down. All right, so I just disposed of the gas in a very EPA-friendly way that I will not show on camera. I have some soapy water all over the tank. It wouldn't come out this, because if you look at that base, it's pretty rusted. I actually got some of the rust off already. But when I turn it to reserve, nothing would come out. All right, so I have these scooter tires. I'll show you this in a later video. Wink, wink. I got one that I'll be working on. I was gonna put it on the center stand, let the little peacock go through that, but the scooter tire, it's a lot more stable. So I'll just add the vinegar, and I'm going on a weekend trip, be back Sunday, check on it. Today's Friday, and it's nighttime. So just for a frame of reference, once we check back in. Okay, so it is Wednesday, and you can see down there, there's still some rust on that side. This way, it's looking pretty good. There used to be a bunch of rust down there. There's some rust flakes going. I shook this up pretty good. I'm gonna let it sit for a few more days. Vinegar's pretty expensive, believe it or not. I'm gonna top it off again and then just let it sit. I might get to it this weekend, but this is one of those situations I want to do it one and done to make sure that all the rust gets eaten out. Okay. Look at rusted. Let me go ahead and get the rest of this out. Okay, here's the tank. After rinsing it out, there's still a bunch of crap in it. So I'm gonna try the works next. That sucks. I should have done the works to begin with. But if you look down in there, I sprayed some PB blaster in there, rinsed it around, but there's still, you can't really see from this angle, but on my eye, yep, there we are. There's still a ton of rust up there. That's just gonna get knocked loose, like up in this part of the tank. Man, sometimes you live and you learn. This is 5 gallons worth of vinegar, and it didn't work. So I'm back to the drawing board. I think I'm gonna use the works and go from there. You guys ever spent your Friday night instead of this vinegar, which didn't work? If you can see in there. I mean, it worked a little bit. I flash rusted though in the meantime. And if you can see, like the actual corners, they're bad. They're really bad. Okay, if this does the trick though, I'll be really happy. I was looking at some other comparable products on the market, and if I'm under 20 bucks, that's fine. I'm gonna just throw all these in, and I'm gonna fill the rest of the gas tank up with water. These are each, I have 14, and it's 24 fluid ounces for each. Supposedly you're supposed to do like a half ratio of water to wicks, or I mean the works, not wicks. So we'll see how this works out. All right, and just like that, we got 14 bottles of the works in there. It's nighttime now. I'm just gonna let this sit out here so that if it leaks, it will kill some weeds. And I'll check back on it tomorrow. I didn't think I was gonna have to go this aggressive with it, but after looking more at the tank, I realized, wow, vinegar, good luck, and it didn't cut it. I'm gonna take this air filter off and get the carb cleaned out and put a new fuel filter on. Let's see, I have to go from this side, but yeah, the fuel filter, then probably run some new hose too. This hose looks like It's lived a good life, but you can see right there it's starting to get a little wear, a little more than I'd like to have. And you can see inside that fuel filter, not the cleanest. So I think getting a new fuel filter is really going to help this too. I'm going to take the carb apart, blast out the jets, just very simple stuff. Leave it to Harley, or I guess I should say Screaming Eagle, because that's the intake that's on here. I only have metric hex sockets, so I'm going old school. I'm going by hand. I think I'm spinning. Oh, here's that one. And here's number 2. Man, I can't get over the price of motorcycles right now. I have a buddy that's wanting to get into riding, and he was looking for some smaller bikes, and he ended up, what the freak? Oh, okay, it's the spacer. He ended up picking up that one goes there. Just a little Kawasaki Ninja 300. He paid $3 grand for it though. I think it was a pretty decent deal. I just never thought the day that bike hoarding would have a better return than the stock market. I have a few bikes and just the KBB value on them. I don't know if that's actual true value or if they'd actually sell for that. But my main daily, my Kawasaki Versus right there, that bike's gone up over $1,000 from the time I picked it up. So pretty wild. Yeah, I think it's time for a nice clean out. And this air filter, I'll show you. It's probably time for a new filter too. But I'll have to go get that Harley-Davidson dry element type. I'll probably buy some knockoff one, because I don't feel like paying the price to get that cool little Harley logo engraved on it, but each their own. And there's some sediment down there. I'm not sure where that came from. It's a little bit up there, but let me go ahead and get all this taken off. Oh, that's breather hose. So we'll get to it. All right, and if you're doing this on an 883 as well, it's gonna be a little bit different, just dependent upon the intake setup. It's really a case-by-case situation. I like to lay this type of stuff out. Like this came off first, then that, and I'll put these screws just right behind there. This is gonna be a quick one. I'll be doing this in the same day, getting this all taken down and put back on. That's just a helpful tip. That way you know, like, there. Okay, now you just zip off these. This is if you overfill your oil. This is where it leaks out from, and then it makes you think that you done messed up your bike. So these ones, this is your PVC. Those thread in right there, and then let's the gases go back in where you can burn it. And you can see this curb needs a little bit of cleanup, so go ahead and get that going. All right, the freaking headlight's coming out. I can't see stuff. If I remember correctly, these carbs, yep, that's always weird to me, but Harley carbs, they simply just kind of sit on there. So I have enough access to get into the carb now. They're all little Phillips heads, so I'm gonna be working on that. so it's actually a week later. My wife is pregnant and she decided to have the kid. So I've had this in there for a week. People are saying that the Works eats plastic. I don't know if that's true, because that's been soaked in plastic. Or soaked in the Works, my bad. This plastic has been. It doesn't seem to be too bad. But I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and drain it out. I'm gonna drain it out into these bottles and let you know what it looks like. Messing with the tank. I got a few parts coming and I'm waiting on good old Amazon. I called Harley and they were like, we can special order it in and it'll be in 7 to 10 days. I'm like, dude, I don't want to wait that long to ride this bad girl. So here we are. I had to make a run, good old O'Reilly's, to get just some 1/4 inch fuel line. The old fuel line, let me show you. This is bad. If it looks like this, it's starting to kind of disintegrate. And it kind of has an old feel to it. Right there, there's some nicks. It's just not worth it. I think I paid a few bucks, less than $5 for a foot of it. Here's the old fuel filter. You can see how disgusting that is. It was sucking up all the crap from the gas tank. I've done a few flushes on it, and so that should be taken care of. This is the new one. I just went with this exact same one. So this was like $5 also. Got new hose clamps. The old one has this style, the OEM setup, so I guarantee this fuel line, yeah, it's Harley-Davidson, that's probably from 2004. And then I was also missing a screw from the bowl of the carburetor, and I didn't have the bolt with me, but thanks to some forums I was able to find it. That was like $2 at Lowe's. So this is what I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be getting this cleaned out, sprayed out. I don't think the jets are really clogged. I think it's more of a fuel delivery issue that was going on with this bike based off the fuel filter and the inside fuel filter on the petcock. But I'll still spray it out real quick and then I'll show you in here. Yeah, I'm gonna spray all that out. Oops. And get everything stretched out. Man, I understand why you dads though. Oh, I put a new line on this because it was all disintegrated. Work out in the shop. I just had my first little girl. Hooray! And it's peaceful out here now. It's a different level of peace. Okay, and I'm going to be putting back the air filter, the cover and everything. And then I might just siphon some gas to the carburetor and get the fire. We'll see. I'm getting kind of antsy to see what this one's like. The part should be here on Tuesday. I got the other whip that I bought to fix up during this time. But yeah, we'll get ripping on it. Oh man, when the Amazon truck drops off the good old part that you need to wrap everything up, it's a good feeling. This is my petcock, and good old part right there. Once the thread on, I was like, oh, that's weird. Yeah, that's why. It's broken, and there's rust on it. This is a replacement. It was $20. Fun story. Harley-Davidson actually said, oh, we can get this part for you. It would just take 7 to 10 days and it's a special order. And it would be like $65. This was $20 and it got to my house in 3 days. So hard to compete. I just got to slap this back on the tank over there. And then the tank will be ready to go back on. And then slap a battery in it. And then put the seat on. And let it rip. Well, got the battery in, got the tank on, got everything ran to it. You hit this. I'm gonna do no choke for a sec. That's a no choke. Choke's right there. Okay, now it's choked. Okay, she is not wanting to start right now. I mean, it's got gas showing, but oh, there it is. Typical Harley. Just needs to warm up. Okay, I haven't owned or rode a carved bike in probably a while. Oh, shoot. Okay, we got a little gas coming off the overfill. Let's see if we can get that to... Yeah, something's not happy. Alright, it's the next morning. I'm going to pull the choke and get this running. Okay, I already had a time lapse of me pulling all this stuff apart. I could have time lapsed it again, but instead I'm just going to pull off this bottom and then pull the jet out, and I'll show you what the jet looks like. Alright, so here's that. Let me just pull them. Awesome. Alright, we just pulled them right out of there. We'll blast it all out, make sure it's flowing well. I believe these little holes are probably clogged up. So yeah, we'll just clear it all out. All right, I got everything pulled apart. There's that other jet that was in there. I pulled it out, it looked fine too. I don't know if the gasket in the back wasn't seated. The gasket now is seated perfectly, just like it should be. That holds the carburetor onto the intake, so I don't know if that was off or what. I fired it up and it sounded pretty good. I think I'm gonna take it for a spin tomorrow and see how it really does. Okay, so we got the Harley, that's running good. What I want to do now is put the battery cover back on. There's scratches right here, and I got one of these tank covers, so I'm gonna slap that on. And then I got the seat to put on. I think the seat's really gonna pull this overall look together. The guy that I bought the bike from had this seat, and one of those deals I was negotiating with him, and he told me like, all right, man, give me another $100 and you can have all this extra stuff. I was like, all right, like that seat changes that bike, so I'm down. So I picked up the seat too. I'm gonna slap it on, show you guys how it looks. Oh, and we gotta do the rear tail lights. Get all those mounted up. Man, this bad girl looks so much better. Whew. I'm still not crazy about this weird backlight setup. Looks kind of weird to me, but whatever. They previously said it flipped the other way, but I feel like it's too close. I don't know. It does have some different back lenses that will go with it. This is a built little seat that came with it. Got the tank cover on, and it's got the smoked windshield, and it runs good. So, cool, here it is. I just took it out for the first spin. Pretty great little bike.